I think it can be a bit of a lazy cliche, saying, that team wanted it more or whatever. But in that moment...
When you see him long busting,
it was
counter-attacking like that.
It was just very, very impressive to watch.
Oh, cometh a big victory for Manchester United. Cometh the Vish!
That's like saying Candyman in the mirror 3 times. Vishy's on the pod.
Vishy's on the pod. Everybody, Vishy's on the pod. Vishy's on the pod. Come on, the man of the bat is back.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's brought a ball with him this time.
You were meant to be back after the Fulham game. Stayed a bit further. Stayed a bit longer in India.
Yeah, I thought I might as well cover the last test.
What was the point?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there was no point whatsoever.
As Vish walked back through Heathrow on the anything to declare, just a Man United win. And here I am.
Here he is.
Yeah.
I actually got searched on the way back. So
did you?
Yeah, no
Good.
idea why.
Good.
I had a very neat moment where the bloke was like, "Have you got any cigarettes on you?" And I was like,
Probably.
"Well, these in my pocket." And I pulled out, and he was like, "How many have you got there?" And I was like, "I've got 10 cigarettes."
He was like, "Can I have one?"
Did you get
Very
any
weird.
searched you, did he?
Yeah, he searched me. Yeah,
Bloody hell.
10 cigarettes.
They were like, that man
I think he thought
absolutely reeks of opium.
I think he thought I was being smug, but no, I generally just had 10 cigarettes, man.
Better to be smugged than smuggled.
That's true.
Yeah.
I got
put them on
searched
in your
once.
mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
Can we fast forward to the game bit now?
No, 'cause
I've been away for so long.
Marcus said he got searched once, and I want to hear about this.
Yeah, I was coming back from Ghana, obviously, being with my people.
Yeah.
But I went via Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, who's fly back from Europe or outside Europe?" And I thought it'd be quicker if I go back from Europe.
Yeah.
Technically, I have.
Yeah.
But I had a big backpack on.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a travelly thing, and
Were you wearing your Legalised It t-shirt?
the whole thing.
And then his dreadlocks at that point as well.
I was wailing, and she went, "Where have you come back from?" And I said, "Just flown in from Amsterdam," which probably didn't do me any favours either. And she went, "I am going to have to check your bag." And when she was checking my bag, she was sort of saying, "Oh, I'm not going to find anything, am I?" And I was like, "No, you're really not."
No, because I
In my stomach in a condom.
Because I've got it. Exactly. That is the way around it, kids.
Bag of pills.
Oh, good.
Don't do that.
good.
Don't
Good.
do that.
Do that.
Don't
because
break
they will
the law.
burst and you'll die.
Yeah.
Anyway.
drugs are bad. Don't break the law. Highlights of the weekend, Luke Ball.
Use FedEx.
My highlight of the weekend was Harry Redknapp's response to the news that he suddenly became aware of over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
That Ben White had turned down an England opportunity. And it's fair to say that Harry took it quite badly and started off being asked by a radio station to give his opinion and then just went on and on and on. And I'm not going to do the whole thing because it was massive.
Because he starts with, "On behalf of King and Country."
No, well, it gets to that point. He says, "I'm sorry you've had your opportunity. You don't want to play for England? You tell the Bobby Moores of this world who's got 100-odd caps.
You can't anymore.
You tell the Shiltons, the Beckhams, the Rooneys, those people. Go and tell the Billy Bonds of this world who didn't get a cap and should have done, and all those great players that you don't want to play for your country. I think it's disgusting."
Yeah, I think
it was exactly like the Exploding Heads.
Yeah.
It scripted exactly the same way.
Sounds like the streets.
Yeah, it does a bit.
Without taking sides, if there are sides to be taken here, I think Ben White probably could have turned around and said, "No, I really do want to play for England, but I know I'm not going to, which is why I don't bother."
Yeah, we could have done. Harry took it bad, and at the end he said, "I think the door should be slammed right in his mush."
Oh.
It's the end.
Imagine that if Southgate there was a door.
Yeah.
It's almost
like
as if,
transfer windows next to it.
It's almost as if like he's proving exactly why he shouldn't play for England. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't need this.
Yeah, I don't
need
want it. Yeah,
That feels like, I know that this meme has died a death already, but that feels like it would have been ripe for a Park Life.
Yes.
Oh, big time.
Big time.
So you're Captain Tom? Maybe?
Peter. Oh,
Is that your highlight of the weekend again, Captain Tom?
Captain Tom.
Well, Pete
still not with us.
You bought their hot tub, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Pete, what's happening with Kate Middleton?
No,
Vish,
I've
come
completely
on,
missed
Vish.
it.
We did this on Luke and Pete show, and
Don't.
it was very, very confusing for
No,
Pete.
It was
No,
very
no,
confusing.
right.
I
I
forgot
want your
who Kate Middleton was. I couldn't
Fine.
remember whether
That's
she was the
best you don't-
Duchess or the Duke.
Best you don't remember who she is.
I'm never going to find out. I've been away for so
We'll
long.
tell you later.
She's got an Adobe Creative Cloud
Seriously.
subscription, and I, for one, love that.
30 quid a
Peter,
month.
your highlight of the weekend.
Gary Neville making a stupid noise.
That's Neville.
Yeah, Gary Neville.
That's worse than the goalgasm.
No, but
This is Sparta!
Sounds like he's fallen down a hole, Mark. Doesn't it? Horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting.
Everyone, What? But on that Gary Neville thing, right?
Wilhelm scream.
He lives in the area, right?
Yes.
And he gets free tickets.
Yeah.
Just go to the game, Gary.
Just go to the game.
Let him have a game.
Let him have a game off.
It's only a quarter final between Man United and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, he's not got the sanctuary of the Sky Studio.
Yeah, that's true.
And those Liverpool fans will let them know what they think
Hey,
of him.
he was watching it on terrestrial television, not using an illegal fire stick like other footballers.
That was a great contribution by Gary, though, wasn't it? Who is becoming weirder and weirder by the season, and people just aren't picking up on it.
I don't know. There's just a lot more of him around, and people will find out you're a weirdo eventually.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
It's also very rich.
Speaking of which, Vish, your highlight of the weekend.
My highlight of the weekend was during the VAR break to check Ellis Sims' opener in the Coventry Wolves game. Clive Tilsley, clearly with too much time on his hands, as they were going through it, just went, "Oh, I suppose the question is for VAR, is it Photoshop?" Yeah. And I was like, "There's enough time has passed in this break that you've thought about it, and you're like, no, I probably shouldn't say it. No, I'm going to say it."
He's going, I haven't given them enough information. I've not mentioned who we're talking about here. Oh God.
Yeah.
But also, he's also done a classic older person thing where he has thought, right, when did that happen? I think that's funny, but I'm not on the football on the telly again for another 3 weeks. So I'm still going to do it, but it's so far gone past that no one now knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because kids, really, you probably know talk about Photoshop all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
But you just can't let this lie, can you, Vish?
No, you can't.
I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
It looked fine.
My highlight of the weekend definitely was...
She's got long arms. It's all right.
It's got long arms. I like helping people.
Yeah.
And I like to think that in some way, just supporting my football team, it helped out Aston Villa in their Champions League.
Right, okay.
And then they
Campaign. A lot of people tweeted me for some reason saying, "Oh yeah, thanks for that," and I was like, "Well, I didn't kick a ball."
No.
But just merely being there, seeing Fulham's best performance of the season, stopping Tottenham scoring was very delightful.
And the new Mitrovic. is going great guns now.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
I know.
Unfortunately, we
flying.
got a load of FA Cup crap to
Get out of the way.
get out of the way. Go on then, Man United 4, Liverpool 3. Go on, Fishy. What about that?
Just order is restored in the world, isn't it? I don't think they wanted it as badly as us.
Here we go again. Yeah.
Which probably is down to the fact that they've got bigger fish to fry. But
Yeah.
I don't
we'll
know.
have the little fish, please.
Well,
sir.
they were happy to win the League Cup, and that's a smaller fish than
Yeah.
the FA
The
Cup
white
fish.
bit.
That's the smallest
Your
fish.
farewell tour. Yeah.
One less,
Please don't email it.
one less date on the farewell tour.
Yes, yeah. He can put all his effort into that semi-final defeat.
So Jurgen Klopp's very much. Jurgen Klopp also did basically an Axl Rose on his farewell tour as
Is
well.
that right?
Got really pissed off and stormed off.
Yeah, so he a lot of people would have seen this. He had a go at what I think was a foreign journalist, wasn't it? Let's just play the clip.
I'm really disappointed about that question, but you thought obviously it's good. So too many games, so I don't think that. Come on, you are obviously not in a great shape, and I have no nerves for you.
Yeah, bad loser he is.
I have no nerves for you, did he say?
I can't remember what he said. It was,
I think he was saying like I've got no patience for
Right,
you.
okay, yeah.
yeah, but he
And
wasn't.
Clearly.
Andy said, presumably through some kind of like translation, that because he can speak a bit of German, he said that he thinks that Klopp also meant that he wasn't in good mental shape. Not that he wasn't saying he was fat, like a Louis van Gaal, Neil
Yes,
Custis thing.
yeah.
Fat men.
Yeah.
I think that was clear to everybody. But apart from one person was just tweeting that he called the man fat. He didn't. He said he wasn't in very good shape. But he's just talking about the way that the questions were asked. I
Yeah.
suppose. So,
Yeah.
And also,
He was spiky though.
very
Oh,
spiky. He
definitely.
always is. He always is when that kind of stuff happens. But what a game, though.
What a game. It was incredible, wasn't it? Scott McTominay, McSauce, with another goal, of course, got it going.
And they should have scored before that as well. They started so strong.
They-
It was
they-
kind of interesting.
It was
how
a
good
great
were.
performance from Manchester United. Although Liverpool would have felt perhaps in the second half maybe they should have killed it off because they had a number of opportunities, which was highlighted that their final pass let them down quite severely, you would say, Vish, because they lost the game.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of luck involved, but it was weird in that way that it felt like the luck was going back and forth because I felt like Liverpool could have killed the game in the second half, certainly at the start of it.
And they were ahead twice.
They were ahead twice. They also could have killed it at the end when they were ahead in extra time. And then at the same time, Marcus Rashford with the last kick of regulation time puts one past the post.
Oh my goodness.
That was a big miss. He put it quite far
was
wide
huge.
as well.
I think, like, generally, from Manchester United's perspective, I was quite impressed with how they came back from their own mistakes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of like woe is me about United in those when those particular duff moments happen, and there wasn't so much that. And I think part of it comes down to actually just wanting and needing it more than Liverpool. And it's not to say that like United expended any greater passion than Liverpool did. It's more that like when it came to it, that was United's season. And they were clawing for it, and they haven't clawed like that for a while actually.
Even Anthony was at the races.
I've got this right, I might as well use it now.
It annoyed the shit out of me that he scored an actually meaningful goal, because that goes against the narrative in a big way.
Very much so.
But there was also a point to make that like I think Liverpool just thought that United would shoot themselves in the foot. Understandably so. And I think, like, I was looking back, and I'd be keen to hear what Liverpool fans have made of this, but it kind of makes the team he put out on Thursday against Sparta Prague all the more ridiculous, maybe.
Why do you think that?
Salah and Szoboszlai play the whole game, having come into that game with a 5-1 lead.
Yeah.
Knowing that this game was more important than that game,
you could argue
with a 10-day break.
Salah's not played that much of late.
Sure, but then it's 4-0 after 15 minutes.
But it is a training ground game.
I suppose. I just wondered about that because to be fair, I didn't think they looked particularly tired, but they did take their foot off the gas unnecessarily. Yeah. They could have battered United at the start of the second half, and they didn't.
Well, that's what made it such a great game. I mean, from a neutral's point of view, those of us who are of the generation that, the FA Cup games were a properly big deal.
Great weekend for it.
And also all on terrestrial television this weekend, which is a massive thing as well. That has such a big impact, and you could see what it meant to some of the fans in the stadium.
And Gary Neville.
And some of the fans not in the stadium, like Gary Neville, running around their living rooms. But the overwhelming feeling I got from watching the game was just that this has been a fucking great game.
Oh man,
it's like an all-time great game. And what I find a little bit disappointing about modern football is that these amazing games that stick in the mind for years and years, they don't seem to have the room to exist as much anymore because there's so many games. So you might have an absolute weekend of barn burners. I mean, 3 or 4 weeks ago in the Premier League, there was an amazing set of games. Yeah. It's instantly forgotten about because there's so much football to talk about.
Well, so many clips and so much footage shared and so on.
It felt like this was a throwback because it felt like a real event.
Well, the fact is
one
that
will stick in the mind for a while.
We're talking about this before Wolves Coventry.
I know.
That's how good it was.
Which was also a great game.
Yeah, indeed, which we will get onto soon. But I mean, of course, right at the end of the game, Amad Diallo scores the winner in the 120th minute, got sent off for taking his shirt off in celebration. And do you know what? I thought to myself, because I'd forgotten.
He needs game time as well.
Well, he does. I'd forgotten that he was on a yellow. And when somebody celebrates in a way which I think, no, you've not caught the moment there. I actually felt that with him because he comes across such a nice lad and so on. And when he's holding his shirt up, I was like, no, just get lost in the. Why are you going, hey, it's me, it's Scott? I was like, and he got punished for it, and rightly so.
I like him as a footballer. I would very much enjoy seeing him a lot more in the Premier League because coming through at Sunderland, he was so green and he just couldn't catch up with like the physicality of that particular league, and now he's just got everything for me. I think he's
these are the kind of moments. These are the kind of moments that burnish a young player at Man United's reputation, right? Vish? Because they've had such a great story of bringing players through, and for him to come and do that. I mean, Kobbie Mainoo's done similar stuff as well at times.
When I saw those feet, I did think to myself, Gareth.
you know,
5 more years.
You know, I thought, Jude, if you're gonna ping your hamstrings, go ahead, mate.
No.
Ready-made replacement.
Okay,
don't mind.
You need to calm down.
Don't worry about that.
I know you've been
Get him on the bench.
You've been up in the Himalayas, okay, but you need to come back down.
I think it's the Indian cigarettes. They're pretty harsh.
the Man United winner.
Indian cigarettes.
I'd love a little YouTube channel of you just reviewing cigarettes of the world.
Chain smoking.
That's actually quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
I did.
Maurizio Sarri in the background.
I was missing you so much, Vish. I googled some early appearances from you on the internet, and you've got a YouTube channel that you made that just has one video, and it's just a woman from, I think, ESPN Australia getting your name wrong.
Yes,
You've got.
Sounds good, mate. How many subscribers?
Don't need subscribers when you've got good content.
One more.
Just Pete.
Here's some old tweets from Vish. December 10th.
No, don't do this. What are you doing?
December 10th, 2013. Grand Designs. Where have you been all my life? That's all right.
Yeah. It's great, isn't it? Because normally when you go through someone that broadcasts old tweets, it involves you inevitably getting the sack.
I was about to say, Pete, get to the
about.
ones that we can cancel.
December the 7th, 2013. Oh, Manchester United. I've already have to deal with one disappointment today. At least wait till I've got out of bed. What was the other one in bed? That's the question. And January
What the fuck is this?
January the 1st, 2014. In London, it was waking up to an England collapse. In Australia, it's United losing. Is there a country where I can sleep through both?
Go Vish.
Just working
Quite
with
quaint.
Man United being a bit rubbish and time zones.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
did
worst I could find for Vish.
I did remember maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, I did go back and delete some pretty bad
Spicy
tweets.
tweets.
Yeah.
As did Peter when we went to
Well,
America.
Me and Pete both had.
Oh yeah, we had to go back and
when we did
all my Death to America
couple,
stuff.
couple of careful. When we went, he didn't do that.
All those
Why am
requests
I
for-
defending you?
Does anyone know? Does anyone know how to get fertilised?
Don't,
Stuff like that.
don't
It's like
implicate
all over
yourself, Marcus. Just remove yourself from it.
Yeah.
We did. We went through all our tweets, didn't we?
No,
we had to because-
yeah.
Under Donald Trump,
Yeah, it was the Trump administration. We had to.
they were a little bit sensitive, weren't they, for people tweeting about
Do you
them?
know that?
And we went and needed work visas.
Do you know that
Snowflakes.
do you know that when I visited Miami, I was transiting through Miami, and I showed them my passport, and they said, "You've got the wrong visa. Like you had the wrong visa back in the day." I was down as a sports person
You are.
rather than someone just talking about.
Are they blind?
But you're always wearing a football shirt, so you're
Yeah.
fine.
I am, yes, true.
Pete's,
True.
speaking of that, Pete's wearing a pair of tracksuit bottoms today, which he proudly announced to me earlier
don't
are
say
part of the Martin Kemp collection at Sainsbury's.
Correct. Yeah.
But what do you,
I've
what do
So
reached
you-
that
you're
part
wearing
of
a
my
pair
life,
of tracksuit
yeah.
bottoms endorsed by a bloke who used to be in EastEnders and
Yeah,
an 80s
exactly.
pop band.
but
Exactly.
what do you refer them to as?
They're wank pants. They are wank pants. I mean, there's no two ways about it. They're
No
yeah.
two ways. No two ways.
President on.
No. But can I
You
just
put them on
Can I
and
wrestle
you're
it back?
obliged.
Can I just briefly wrestle it back
To the scenes of celebration.
the Man United winner?
Yes.
Where Liverpool player, I think it was Harvey Elliott, who had scored earlier, got caught in possession, and then United had the real desire to get forward and get a winner. I mean,
Garnacho, eh?
yeah, and I could not believe the legs on Garnacho in that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Given the amount of football he's played, given that he's got a bit of stick, I think probably unfairly. On the other side, actually on the flip side of that, playing on the opposite flank to Anthony is probably fantastic for anyone's career. but he was still busting a gut to get there. And it really did show how much they really badly wanted it. And I think it can be a bit of a lazy cliche, saying, "Oh, that team wanted it more," or whatever. But in that moment,
When you see him long busting,
it was just
counter-attacking like
it was
that.
just very, very impressive to watch.
Yeah,
Very impressive.
yeah.
I thought he could have gone on his own.
He should have done his own. That would have been great.
The spirit of Mohamed
didn't.
Kudus. But it was. But when the goal went in, obviously there's going to be great scenes of celebration. But it was like almost beyond that. Like there was a kid in the crowd who was like,
Crying,
gonna
yeah.
cry. I honestly thought Ten Hag, when the goal goes in, he kept his composure. I actually thought he looked like he was almost like holding back the
Right, could have been.
the sort of the tears of joyous emotion.
Yeah.
But it was unbelievable as
And
one
one of
would
his
expect.
coaches came up and said, "You're thinking about Marcus Rashford off the ball again, mate."
Yeah, you had a few things to say about Rashford off the, because I mean, obviously he scored the goal and he missed chances, but he was involved quite a bit in their attacking play.
There was just one particular moment for one of the Liverpool goals. I forget which one it is. Where
The Kwanzaa run.
that's right.
Yeah,
He does let players drift past him. There's been clips posted online, which I know can be unhelpful in isolation, where he has just drifted and let players go past him, which is kind of a cardinal sin, the way football's played these days.
Anthony Gordon wouldn't do that.
But he wouldn't. Definitely wouldn't. He gets through so many doggies.
Yeah.
But producer Finn said, don't worry, Marcus will write a article in the Players Tribune about why he actually wanted the ball, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, that's Rashford, not me.
no. Yeah.
But an incredible win.
It was a game for the ages. It really was. And I think
really
it's hard
was.
to stand out these days because there's so much football played. But that was the barn burner of the season, in my opinion. There's something about the knockout nature of the game that makes it more impactful to me, at least. The fact that it's on terrestrial TV. And without being too kind of mawkish about it, these are the kind of things that kids who can watch this, kids who can't afford to have subscription TV, kids that don't have the wherewithal to find a stream to watch it or whatever, can watch this on the national broadcaster or one of the national broadcasters on terrestrial telly, and it can make them fall in love with the football team. And that's an amazing thing, and we can't forget that.
We
And then
can't
they can watch
forget
Mountain Deck afterwards.
And then get yourself some Ant Deck.
that. Exactly. And then have Gary Neville scream at you
Yeah.
on social media.
Yeah.
But at least Gary had a good weekend, because not
Yeah.
all the Nevilles did.
No, they didn't.
Because
What's Phil done?
Fizzer, they
Wanking.
I think
In Pete's pants.
he went. he was seen on the beach.
Got to be a better way to phrase that. sorry.
Actually, that's a good weekend.
Not for the locals.
No. Pete,
yeah.
can we just get a confirmation here? Has Fizzer wanked in your trousers or not?
I don't know.
Not
Admit
to your
in
knowledge.
Spanish. You wanna-
Well, they did lose,
They did.
which is a great shame. So sad for him. Also sad for Harvey Neville that his contract with Inter Miami was mutually terminated. However,
before you move on to that,
yeah.
how mutual do you think it was? How much did Harvey go?
Your dad's not here, so go away. Your dad's not here.
How much? I don't think Harvey never walked into the office and went, I don't want to play here anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think that happened.
I think he said it's too hot and humid here.
Yeah.
There's a place a bit further north from here.
Or maybe he went, can you get Lionel to come in and tell me he wants me to stay? We'll ask him.
Yeah.
Right.
What am I
There's
learning
your
from the
ticket.
players around me?
Yeah. Until then, off you pop.
Yeah.
He has since signed for Portland Timbers. though.
Official MLS team of the Ramble.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fizz's team.
Yeah.
There's a
he's
theme
gone
tune
to-
How
every
did he get
now and again.
that?
Yeah, it's just,
Wow.
mate, he worked really hard on the trial of, by the look of it, about 10 minutes and got signed.
Don't be harsh. There's a young lad trying to apply his trade in football.
I'm
Was he not already on loan there for some reason? Did I think he was on? Why would I thought he was on already on loan there?
I wouldn't worry about it.
Don't worry. So he's playing for the second team.
No insight is needed
Right.
here.
Okay.
He's going to be playing for the second team, isn't he?
Yeah, Timbers 2.
Yeah, Timbers 2.
Until his dad gets sacked.
This time it's personal. Timbers 2. You won't believe what happened next.
Timbers 2.
Timbers too. Keep it in the family.
Portland Timbers was such a cliffhanger. I'm well pleased they got the second one for Harvey.
Back in the habit. Right then, everybody. Let's move on to
Is
Wolves.
Harvey Airbud?
Yeah.
It's just like I can't believe he's here.
I said,
playing
let's
football.
move on to Wolverhampton Wanderers 2.
Did Wishbone play football?
Coventry City 3. Coventry.
That was a game and a
Oh
half
my
as well.
goodness! I mean, you talked about Manchester United Liverpool being a classic throwback. One that we'll always remember, or certainly some fans will remember. I mean, Coventry City. What a victory this was! So dramatic, and only the second time in their history they've reached the semi-finals of the FA Cup. I
Would have
didn't
been-
realise that.
87 when they won it, right? Is the other one.
And who?
Must be.
Go on,
Keith
say
Houchin.
there it is.
Keith Houchin. The only thing I know him for. The only thing I know him for.
It's the only thing he wants to be known for.
Yeah. You know what they say? Being a one-hit wonder is better than being a no-hit wonder.
Damn right it is. Pete knows that.
Good Pools manager.
Yeah.
Keith Houchin.
He did
was.
manage Hartlepool,
He
didn't he?
quite for a long time. Him and Mick Tate.
There we
Big,
go.
big Thatcherite, according to his Wikipedia.
Is he really?
Okay, yeah.
According to his Wikipedia.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's he like on Twitter? Or should I not
No
ask?
idea. No idea.
I had a bit of a ding-dong with Matt Le Tissier's daughter on Twitter yesterday.
Bloody hell.
Did you really?
I then found out that it's his daughter-in-law, so I've embarrassed myself there.
Oh.
Why are we arguing?
Because someone who's got access to the Ramble Twitter account, I suspect it's either Rory or Finn,
All right.
posted a poll saying which club's bigger, Portsmouth or Southampton, off the back of the mailbag, and that's Marcus's fault mostly.
It's not my fault.
And then loads of people ploughed in, and then Matt Le Tissier.
What was the result?
Southampton won it,
Oh.
but Matt first thing they have won. So Southampton.
Petty.
It's unbelievable.
Matt Le Tissier.
Hence they're a bigger
Right, let me get back to the story. I thought it was Matt Le Tissier's daughter, but it's his daughter-in-law.
Right.
That's a bit of
Uh-huh.
details probably not needed.
Yeah.
She tweeted for some reason saying Portsmouth are only relevant because of Southampton.
Right.
And I thought I could get into that and talk a bit about how that makes no sense whatsoever. But I just quote tweeted saying your dad's a crackpot.
And
Yeah.
Bring your daughter to the slaughter with Luke Moore.
I should have done that. At the
and
moment,
you're on the dock with Joey Barton.
your old man's a crackpot's got 386 likes. So
Yeah.
I'm the real winner here.
Aren't you just? And so were Coventry City, for crying out loud. Talk about scenes of celebration at ends of games. I mean,
And we wrote Coventry off, Marcus. We should be honest about that.
bloody hell.
We had to apologise before the game because the show before last, we said we don't think Coventry have got much chance at Molineux.
No,
We rode back on that on Friday,
we did.
and then Coventry ended up winning.
And then Jim bet on Wolves winning.
A bit more on that later because
More on
there's
that
a
later.
twist in that tale. But what a result for them. I'll tell you what, Ellis Sims, what a player he looks like.
What a player.
He's having a fantastic season. He looks like he's destined for great things. And he was a whisker or two away from his third hat-trick in, I think, 2 weeks. Or 2.5 weeks.
Harry Kane-esque.
Very much so. And he just looked like a real handful for Wolves to deal with. And a good thing, the thing I really liked about the Coventry win as well is just that they didn't lose faith, they didn't lose belief. They didn't think they were beaten. They had been kind of, found themselves behind in a knockout game, and it was a killer goal a couple of minutes from the end.
Exactly, the manner of the two goals in fairly quick succession right at the end.
Yeah, but they conceded in the 88th minute, is what I'm saying.
Mind you, he's conceding in the 88th minute. It's like conceding in the 78th minute these days.
Well,
You've still got time.
that's exactly what it was, yeah, because they had 10 minutes of added time. And that added time was ultimately because of all the deliberation from their first goal about that handball. But I was really impressed with how they basically took into account that they had 10 minutes to play.
Yeah.
They didn't just chuck
Exactly.
it forward.
Exactly.
They were like, right, we've cut through them a lot
Let's
already.
build, yeah.
Why don't we just keep doing that? And
Well, they had chances.
come.
This
Yeah.
is it. You know, by and large, they're actually fairly good value for the win. You know, obviously, one looks at that and thinks, "Oh, was it a bit of a smash?"
Oh, they had
grab?
loads more shots, for example.
Indeed.
The real highlight of the game for me was and you're like this, Marcus, the unheralded and really credit not given enough to Bobby Thomas for the flick on at the near post.
Yes.
That was a fucking beauty. That is a amazing bit of skill to flick on like that, to know that Ellis Sims is there at the back post, because he could have gone for it himself.
Yep.
It was great courage courage is grace under pressure and all that. It was great courage to do that.
In the era of playing out of the back and playing the ball on the deck
Yeah.
and all that good stuff, a flick on is a beautiful thing.
But
Get
it was a
your
craft-
scraps.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was quite a crafty flick on. I think they didn't dwell on it because they thought it was basically a botched header on goal. But he clearly
No,
angles
it's proper
himself
grace
and
under
flicks
pressure. It was
on. Yeah.
amazing. It was
I
brilliant.
honestly thought you were going to say that the highlight of the whole affair was the unbridled joy and purity of Mark Robins' celebration for the winner.
So he didn't lose his focus, did he? There's something about. Like, we should explain to people what actually happened. But,
dickhead.
but before this, there's something. So Mark Robbins has done an amazing job at Coventry.
Phenomenal job.
Right, what they were, on the bones of their arse when he takes over. He's taken on to within a whisker of the Premier League.
Oh my goodness!
And now they're at
a because that would have been obviously Luton's amazing story, but
that would have been as well.
It is. Yeah,
now they're at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-final for the second time in their history. He's done an amazing job. There's something about English managers of that generation that cannot shake that real kind of like small dick energy where they have to somehow let themselves down. It was exactly the kind of thing you'd imagine Chris Wilder, Sam Allardyce, Neil Warnock, like loads to do.
I think it's
Steve
up,
McLaren bucks the trend.
He's a bit younger though, isn't he?
It's up there with Pardew at Wembley for me.
Big time.
For
Same energy.
celebration
Same
ruiner.
energy. So explain to people what happened.
So what happened was he was forced. He apologised for celebrating in a ball boy's face
Because he had an altercation with the ball boy before that.
The ball boy, because obviously they're rushing to try and get on with the game because you're into injury time, and the reportedly 13-year-old ball boy apparently,
literally, well done. He's 13. Literally, it's a literal example of it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Why are football men just weird?
It's amazing.
They're such weirdos.
Yeah, that's why you love it, Peter.
Because
Yeah.
the thing that fascinates me about it, Pete, is that like
Fucking SeaWorld.
these
fucking
days,
weirdos.
these days, to do what Mark Robbins has done, you have to be competent at loads of different stuff. It isn't just like back in the day, or you play in the non-league where you're like, right, get the balls, get the cones out. We're going to if we do better than them, we'll win. And you have to be like a proper leader of people, like a real manager, in all true sense of the word. Yet somehow these guys are able to do it, but still massively let themselves down.
But doesn't that make you sort of feel a bit like?
It's quite comforting in a way.
In a weird way, it's a bit like when you hear or you see team talk sometimes. If there's a little fly on the wall and whatnot, and you think, oh, they'll speak a different language.
No, there's no secret.
And it's like up and at 'em, boys.
Yeah, there's no
winners.
secret.
Yeah, it's the same game.
I always remember that with Bobby Robson, who was like obviously a legendary coach, and I remember him saying apparently the thing he used to sign off every team talk with is go out there and enjoy yourselves, and remember you enjoy it more if you win.
Yeah.
And that's just such a basic thing to
lovely,
say.
It's lovely. But the reason why he celebrated in the ball boys' face, we should explain, is that, as I say, they're trying to.
He's an idiot.
They're trying to get the game going, and the ball boy apparently said he had the ball, and then he just basically sort of dropped it or threw it away, and then smiled. Yeah, and as if to say, I'm not helping
He's
you.
13.
Yeah, and this is the thing.
I don't know,
That's
but
what
to
he
be
do.
fair to Mark Robbins, he did say, look, that's why I reacted, but I apologise unreservedly. Because Gary O'Neill said it was disgusting.
Yeah,
and
there's no doubt what I have done. But what? This is the thing. The punishment that Mark Roberts will get for that is that they're playing Man United in the semi-final. This could be as good as it gets. That moment could be as good as it gets in his whole managerial career.
And that's the thing.
And that's how he spent his time.
I don't think the Coventry City fans will worry too much.
No, they won't.
Did you see how Hadji Wright's knee slide absolutely decimated the 18-yard line?
Yes.
It just absolutely smeared it.
They're really good.
I did enjoy that.
You can really tell that football players are proper athletes when they hang in the air for ages for a header and when they do knee slides.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the pace needed to get that kind of
And
distance.
the angle as well.
And the angle,
Yeah, it was a glorious finish. What a goal to win the game.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, lovely.
It's actually,
lovely,
again,
open.
very calm.
And
Open body,
and Vish, you're delighted because Manchester United have drawn them in the semi-final.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Bring on.
I mean,
Dream Stealers.
Bring on the shouters at kids.
yeah, it's effectively a buy into the final. So you look forward to getting hammered by Man City.
Exactly.
I love the idea of Eric Ten Hag doing the pros and cons of playing Coventry ahead of the semi-final. Yeah, the cons are all this. The pros, they are very, very aggressive towards children.
Copy Mano, you're not playing.
Look out. Yeah. Did anyone else find, like, I know we've just moved on from it. Did anyone else find it slightly funny?
Oh,
What do you
yeah,
mean,
it's
shouting at a child? Oh yeah, it's funny, but like
Oh, suddenly you're rowing back on it,
Yeah.
Pete.
no,
They're
it's,
all weirdos,
all of it's
but,
quite funny. But like I don't get angry about it, but it is quite funny. Yeah, I completely agree.
And it's also very good grounding for that boy if he wants to be a professional footballer, because being shouted at by older
Absolutely.
men all the time.
Also good.
is hard.
It's really good. You know when kids develop that awareness where they're like, I'm young enough that people think this is charming.
Yeah, I'll get away with it.
But
yeah.
I'm old enough to shithouse here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can shithouse and then pretend to cry.
I mean,
and
this
I've won,
could
mate.
be the
In my
origin
kid's
story
case,
for
10
like,
months old.
this could be the origin story for an evil person, which we need more of.
Well, it might be
We need
like
homegrown British evil people.
We definitely need more of
you know
them.
the Swansea ball boy who got
Yeah.
kicked by
Yes.
Eden Hazard and now is
Yeah.
a millionaire.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, because
Exactly,
he's got his own
yes.
vodka company, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
but the way you said it was like it was related.
No. Well, it might be the
payout.
origin story.
Where
Yeah.
there's blame, there's a claim.
Exactly.
Maybe this kid's going to go on and do brilliant things.
I
got deep pockets.
Sincerely hope so.
Yeah.
I sincerely
Anyway, here he is.
There
Please
you
welcome him to the studio today.
Oh dear. So yes, Coventry against Manchester United at Wembley.
Has a bit of a throwback. They should play it at Highfield Road.
It
shouldn't
does
they?
feel like that. Yeah.
The Ron Atkinson derby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely right.
Oh, the Dion Dublin just about derby.
Kind of. Man United got a
The
chance
Gordon
to,
Strachan derby. We could go on.
you don't want to be playing Man City in the final of the FA Cup, do you?
Well, we can't avoid it, can we? If we-
Already looking past it.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
trap.
That's the stuff.
2 FA Cup finals in a row. That's the way you got to word this.
Yeah.
You've got 2 Sky Blues to defeat.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You have, yeah. Blue Moon.
Definitely a warm-up act.
Yeah. Mark, by the way, Mark
You're saying this. Don't put it on me like I'm saying it's a warm-up act.
Stop giving the wanker sign to all the Coventry fans.
could also just be the Mark Robbins derby as well. Very, very important part of Man United's
See,
history.
Indeed. All right, coming up after the break, we have goals at the Bridge, goals at the Cottage, and a Sean Dyche slap. See you in a moment.
Ian Wright is the neutral in the room. So, Mr. Wright, please will you do the honours in the semi-final draw?
Okay. Shake up the ball bag.
When you do that to a professional like Mark Pugac, I think it's disgusting.
Not for me, I liked it. Chelsea 4, Leicester 2. Chelsea required 2 stoppage time goals themselves
Yeah.
to get past the Championship flyers, high flyers, Leicester City.
Yeah,
Well,
we
they
had
have
a few-
lost a few games in the
Yeah,
Championship
it's
of
like-
late, but still.
We had a few people complain about us giving Leicester too much prop.
Really.
Right.
Because apparently they're starting to falter a bit, but they're still doing bloody well.
oh, yeah, why are you saying they're good? Because they're still top of the league.
Did you know they used to be even more top of the league? What I like about this game, Chelsea 4, Leicester 2, is the fact that even though Chelsea won to get through to the semi-final of the FA Cup,
Yep.
and they got to the final of the
Yep.
League Cup, no one who supports them's having a very good time.
No,
No.
It's everything they can complain about, they will.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably like nobody knows how good they are still, and the jury is very much out. I mean, they were booing Pochettino and chanting, "You don't know what you're doing," when he subbed off Mudryk, into the second half, and
Yeah, for Chuck Wemaker, who scored the winner.
yeah, but
So maybe just shut the fuck up.
it's a strange old situation at the Bridge. I don't know what to make of
It's
it.
a horrible place to watch.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
I've been to Stamford Bridge with Peter to watch Chelsea against Newcastle. Chelsea won pretty handily, of what I remember.
Right.
And it was notable for a kid next to us who inexplicably had a pair of football boots with him.
Oh,
He was
just
carrying
in case he'd
You
sort
never
of like
know.
get
Yeah,
never
taken
know.
on the pitch.
He
I'm very
needs,
much
to be screamed at.
He
He does. You don't want them getting any ideas above their stations, I would say. I very much enjoyed Kukureya's opener because he was so unmarked.
He was
just
miles away.
He
from
couldn't
everyone.
believe it.
What are you doing there then, defenders?
Well, they probably thought, he's not going to do anything.
No.
But he bloody well did.
He's standing in his 6-yard box, mate.
Marcus, would you be interested in having, based on that performance, would you be interested in having Raheem Sterling on the plane?
Well, Luke Moore, that's very naughty of you to say that.
No, why? It's a question.
It's the football ramble. We're rambling about football, mate.
Vish, stick the booting on Marcus as well.
Why? What have I done?
Actually, I feel like you've been quite consistent because whatever Gareth says goes in your head. But you were consistent about Sterling's not in, and that's Gareth's decision. We have to respect that. And I feel like it's got to a point now where Sterling, having played brilliantly at the start of the season in patches, is now in this weird funk that he often gets into.
Yes.
But it's coming at a bad time, isn't
Well,
it?
you realise how good Pep Guardiola is as a manager obviously what he produces on the football pitch, but sometimes when the players leave and what tune he can get out of some players, of course. And Sterling is one of them. I mean, his end product at Man City, yes, he often was slightly criticised for missing some chances, but he scored an awful lot of goals and played some great football there.
Oh, was at the back post. Should have been there where Cucurella was.
Yeah,
He kind of was, yeah. He was just a bit more in the middle.
I mean, the penalty, let's start there. A strange penalty. He did take one for England like that away to Iceland in the UEFA Nations League, where he kind of rolled it down the middle.
There we go.
And it was a goal.
Yeah.
I just like the idea of
I'm just saying.
A reel-to-reel kind of old school projector in the dark, cigarette on the go, just watching these UEFA Nations League.
I'm not having
matches.
a cigarette on the go.
All right, not a cigarette.
What
on the go.
those
A whiskey.
Very bad for your health.
One of those little chocolate cigarettes
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
in a holder.
A cream tea. Oh, you don't drink hot drinks.
Just a scone.
Cream
Not
soda.
the-
Scone.
Yeah.
Just a scone. A dry scone.
I pronounce it scone.
Do you know, as loath as I am to wrest this back to Raheem Sterling, first of all, you're the only person in the country that remembers that goal against Iceland in the UEFA
He
Nations
doesn't
League.
even remember
Was
it.
it the game Carl Walker got sent off?
Yes.
I vaguely remember it.
Well, and Iceland missed a penalty just after England scored theirs.
So Scott Minto, who I like, forgive me,
What a sentence.
he did a really interesting.
all right.
He did an
He's all
interesting analysis of Raheem Sterling, talking about actually, obviously, wonderful player, all the rest of it. So many things to credit him, has a great career. But he said, I've always felt from the start of his career, really, he's not by top level professional football standards. He's actually not very good at striking the ball.
Yeah.
So I'd never have him on penalties. I'd never have him taking dead balls. He's finishing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
His end product type thing. And it's because technically he doesn't strike the ball as well.
I think that's a fair piece of analysis from old Minto.
And I think that penalty taking responsibility there falls upon him because he's one of the only genuinely senior pros at the club.
But Cole Palmer's on penalties.
Well, I mean,
isn't
that's the
Normally
immediate-
he is, yeah.
That's the immediate thing one would say.
The thing I'd say about Sterling as well is that he's one of the few players where his technique seems to fluctuate with his form. When you think like technique is generally something that
You rely upon if you're not
the players
involved,
like that is the base thing.
Yeah,
At the
yeah,
very
yeah,
least, when
yeah,
your back's against the wall, that's what you can rely upon. Because he scored that knuckleball free kick from like 20 yards out earlier this season. Where I was like, I didn't know you had that in your locker.
Yeah,
But
I
he
know
was
it's-
in a good space and
Yes.
trying new
At the
things.
time.
That free kick he took in the second half, where he blazed it, basically blazed it to Craven Cottage.
I mean,
It's one of the worst free kicks I've ever seen.
yeah.
Yeah, I caught it actually. But
How are you still
No,
there?
Rodrigo Muniz headed it in.
I know what you mean, and I think he was really busting a gut to try and kind of make up for the errors. I mean, he did put one on for
Palmer,
yeah, which
Very
was
good
a
assist,
nice
yeah.
bit of play. So look, I mean, if there are injuries and and Sterling ends up going to the Euros, I don't think that's a disaster at all. I think he's still a good player and he's produced some great moments for England over the years. But we're not talking about England, we're talking about in a Chelsea context. And at the moment, he is playing for a side which doesn't really know quite what it's doing. It still seems disjointed. We thought that perhaps it would click under Poch. We've had this conversation many, many times. The fact of the matter is, Leicester were down to 10 men.
Yeah.
And Chelsea laboured. They got the victory. It's about getting through. So credit there. But you would still fancy them to put that to bed a little bit earlier and a little bit more effectively. But but again, one could say, well, these games happen, blah, 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 but
Okay,
we're just so unconvincing.
But cup
Chelsea.
competitions are all about like little moments, aren't they? I suppose. And panicking.
Yeah,
Chelsea
yeah.
are all about little moments and panicking.
They are.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise they've
They'll
gone deep in
probably
the
win.
cups.
They'll win one of them.
I don't know about that, but I would also just add though, Marcus, the fact that it looks a little bit all over the place at Chelsea, and the fact that that perhaps no one really knows what to make of them, and they're not consistent. You could easily say not just because it's Sterling, but as I've said, he is one of the senior pros at the club. He's won everything, and he's pretty much, and he's got it all
Lead
under
by
his belt.
example.
Yeah. Part of the reason they're not probably that consistent is because Pochettino maybe doesn't feel like he can rely on the senior players to be consistent and set the example. So it can work both ways, I think.
Yeah, that's fair. But the fact is, they're in the semi-final, and in the cup, they've done well. I mean, the League Cup, obviously, they'll be so disappointed that they didn't end up winning it. But to be as fair as we can, they pushed Liverpool all the way, and it took a last-minute goal in extra time. So a run to the final is always somewhat impressive, of course, even though it ends in disappointment. They're in the semi-final of the FA Cup now. They've got Manchester City. You'd fancy Manchester City, of course, but you never know on the day. So in the cups, they've done pretty well thus far. But it's again, when we talk about Chelsea, you just think it's a bit disjointed and things. Because, I mean, you look at where they are in the league, for crying out loud. I mean, they are a mid-table side.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They're playing like a mid-table side. I know for myself. I watch a mid-table side, every other week. And don't get me wrong, I'm delighted they're a mid-table side, being a yo-yo club as they were.
They're like crazy paving, aren't they?
They're just like crazy paving. But I mean, okay, they have 2 games in hand on Fulham, but they're a point above them. So both West London clubs, they're hanging around mid-table. Obviously, Fulham are, in the ascendancy, you would say, with that 3-0 victory at home against Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
Fulham became the first team to stop Tottenham scoring in the Premier League this season. I mean, incredible achievement.
That's also an amazing stat on Spurs' behalf.
Yeah.
It's something I had no idea about.
Fulham's as well.
Fulham have done very well there, of course.
Thank you.
But it's also interesting that it came along off the Spurs side of it, came along after one of the best performances of their season against Aston Villa in a really important game, which they won easily, in which I think they probably got a little bit too much credit for. I think there's a bit of element around Spurs because of everyone likes Ange and because of, they are capable of playing some nice football. No one really mentioned too much about how much Unai Emery changed things around for that game when he didn't need to, and that was something that dogged him in the past, has been a bit of a tinkerer. But nonetheless, they won the game well, and it was a key game because they're up against Villa, in terms of where they want to finish. And then they followed that up with this game where part of me just thinks, it's because Mickey van der Ven didn't play, who's been absolutely brilliant. But I just don't really see a 7-goal swing between two teams being reliant on one player.
It's because Rodrigo Muniz played.
He was brilliant again.
Come on.
And the guy who came in to replace Van der Ven, Rody Dragusin, I think it was his first start. If it wasn't his first start, it was definitely one of his very first starts.
Yep.
He just found it very, very difficult to deal with him. And I think once Fulham get into that groove, and once they're, and João Palhinha talked a bit about how well drilled they were for this game, how well Marcus Hill prepared.
You can tell.
Yeah, they
straight
looked
from the off.
Really good.
Silva, honestly, I still love the fact that he's Fulham manager, because he really could manage a bigger club. But I think, considering what's happened in his career, I think he's quite wisely chosen to kind of stay around.
Because he made mistakes before where his head turned, didn't he? At Watford, he moved to Everton.
And he may not have had offers. I mean, he had an offer from Saudi Arabia.
And do you not think all that because of what's happened previously is why I suppose other clubs are a bit reticent to take him out of Fulham? Do you not
think also a lot of the bigger clubs are a bit of a mess anyway? In certain degrees.
He must just think, I could go there, but there's every chance I'll be 6 months and I'll be out of a job again.
Well, there is that, yeah. And I mean, unless it was a plum job, but the fact is he is Fulham manager and he can set up a team so well. Again, because of the squad of players they have, which is a good squad, they are a mid-table side, so they're not going to win every week. I always say this about people often moan about their teams not having consistency. Well, the only teams that have consistency are the ones way at the top and way at the bottom.
But do you think Fulham fans complain about that when you're at the stadium?
No, I don't think they do.
Right, okay.
I mean, inevitably football fans will think, hang on, we beat Spurs this week, and then, I don't know, maybe next game they go and lose away to Sheffield United or something. That would be a bit frustrating, don't get me wrong. But I think that the fact is that they were so good against Spurs. It's a funny performance from Spurs.
You were at the game, right?
Very much so.
And you thought that, you weren't just there, you were very much there.
Very much so.
Yeah. You were super there.
You could see me in every angle.
But do you how much of it, though, take your Fulham hat off, how much of it was like it was a weird, listless performance from Spurs? They weren't very aggressive, were they?
It felt like that win against Villa made they'd already qualified for Champions League. Do you know what I mean? We've done it now. This is the last game of the season, or a couple of games. Very, very strange performance. But Fulham didn't let them play. And lovely to see big João Palhinha in the centre doing his stuff. But Fulham was superb. And when Silva gets them up for those big games, they can do it. They obviously, look, Burnley have taken 4 points off Fulham this season, so it's not all good. But they've been superb. They've beaten Manchester United recently. They've beaten Arsenal at the Cottage. They've beaten Spurs. And I said to Jim before, when I did say that. I said, I know, look, obviously Arsenal have a very sort of slender lead at the top of the Premier League. I said, don't worry, because Liverpool and Man City have still got to come to Craven Cottage.
Yeah, I mean, the season before last, Fulham played Liverpool at the Cottage on the opening day of the season.
Yeah.
And they were sensational then as well. And they were very unlucky not to beat Liverpool. I also remember them getting sucker punched by Man United and Garnacho at the Cottage that season as well.
Yes.
Or was it this season?
It was last season. It was last season.
So they do come close to getting some big scalps. They do their best work at home for sure.
Yeah, I just wonder if Silva kind of gets them up for the big games, because they seem to be sort of more prepared. And then some of the the loss against Wolves and so on, and that's inevitable, of course. But he is, he's often got his eyes on taking down the big boys.
I feel like a lot of Fulham Fulham's best work comes when they have to go toe-to-toe with an opponent.
Yeah.
Because that really, on the weekend, that really felt like Fulham out-Spursed Spurs.
Yeah, totally.
Like they were quick as everything, they pressed harder, they shifted the ball so quickly as well. There was a moment like late in the second half where someone was on the right and, Andy had made his attacking subs. And it seemed like Fulham had more players than Spurs in every wherever the ball went, wherever Spurs tried to shift the ball. Like Kulusevski, one of the best people at turning defenders, would turn a defender and there'd be two more waiting for him. It was remarkable.
Yeah. I saw some quite angry, I think they were Spurs fans, but anyway, referring to Ange as the Bondi Beach Brendan Rodgers.
Oh, naughty.
Which does kind of work because of the Celtic thing and the fact that they play nice football.
Bogan Brendan.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Spurs were fortunate that West Ham, they sort of took a point off Aston Villa. I mean, it could have been more, of course.
They got a game in hand over them, haven't they? I guess
they do, but the fact is Villa didn't win. But I think Villa, all said and done, will be probably quite happy to have, gained a point on Spurs in that race for fourth spot. Now, another big result in the Premier League this weekend was Burnley beating 10-man Brentford to get their first win of 2024. Vincent Kompany, eh? With that blazer and white T-shirt.
No one talks enough about the fact that he dresses like he's on day release every single game.
Yeah, and Jim said he looks like a tech bro.
Yeah.
He looks like a tech bro with no money, which is weird.
He sold all his NFTs and he's worth a pound.
But he's so committed to that look as well.
The psychotic part of it is that it's exactly the same every single game.
Yes.
And maybe last season when they were flying, he's like, footballers can be superstitious. Maybe it's like, this is my thing. They've been shit for ages. Change it.
Why does he always wear a cap?
Yeah, it's a cap from the club shop, isn't it?
I don't know. Has he got? I don't know. I can't remember what's under there. Really, it's
not
got
much.
A shaved head.
Not
much, but he's just
a massive head.
But he's just a handsome guy. I don't think you need the hat.
I think
maybe
when
he's
you're
inspired by Pulis.
When you're that tall, I think you've just got that kind of presence. I suppose you don't need the accoutrement. You don't need the headwear.
Let it all out there. Let
it all out there.
I interviewed Vincent Kompany once, and he was the biggest bloke with the biggest head I've ever seen.
You're obsessed with big heads, though.
I am. You'd say it's a big win for Burnley, which of course it is, because any win they get is big for them. 2 points I would like to make is that Brentford went down to 10 men very, very early.
Damning loss for Brentford. They can't win.
I know, and Burnley looked. Maybe I'm backfilling this narrative, but I said a while ago I don't know why they don't play Muric and go instead of Trafford, who I think found it quite tough to make the transition. They did play Muric. They won, and he got man of the match.
They listened to Luke Moore.
Well.
And they got the points.
Nice to know it was still influencing the game. That's all I'm saying.
I think so. You're right.
No insight from me on Muric's head size as yet, but I will report back.
Appreciate that. But Brentford are lucky that teams below them just can't buy a win, other than obviously Burnley, because they have been so poor results wise.
It's been the worst Premier League season for them since they've been up.
Yeah,
and they're in an area of the table which they're just not used to being in. I think they'll still be okay because we're still waiting to hear what's going to happen in Nottingham Forest anyway.
And Everton.
Yeah, if Everton have had theirs reduced, but there's something else pending,
exactly.
Right? So essentially, it's going to be some effort for Brentford to get relegated this season, given that Burnley and Sheffield United are gone, and there's one team left that can go down, and one of them, and one and possibly two of them are going to get points deductions.
Well, and obviously Luton got a vital point. I mean, it's not just gaining the point; it was stopping Forest winning,
definitely,
which was huge. And Luton, as we talked about a lot, have been so close to getting results here, there, and whatnot, but. The fact is, it wasn't the win. It wasn't the victory that they crave. So it is interesting. The points business, as you say, is just hanging over everybody, and we'll have to. Which is
mental as well. We talked about that. It's mad.
It is. An interesting one down the bottom. Now, Everton weren't in action, of course. So Sean Dyche took his team on a training camp to Portugal. It's quite nice, I think.
Very nice.
Very nice part of the world. The camp was reportedly marred by an altercation between Sean Dyche and Nathan Patterson at a bonding dinner. What has been described as a jocular slap, as opposed to a jocular strap, from Sean Dyche on Patterson led to tempers fraying.
Described by who? Which party? The jocular strap. Presumably that was from Dyche's party.
So I feel like you're the guy to fill us in on what a jocular slap entails. How does it differ from like a proper slap or a dry slap?
It has
or a slap with a wet fish?
It's got to be the noise.
It has
the noise.
No, it has to be accompanied by a laugh that the Joker would do.
So I think a jocular slap is this.
Here we go. Yeah, because there's not a lot of noise.
It's like a kind of how you
It's just a
doing,
bit
kind of
sexy.
like an old uncle does to
But
you.
if that's what I mean,
Yeah,
it goes on the noise. If it's
Why are you asking me? I'm only ever the person who receives these.
That's
slaps.
what I'm saying. That's
I
what exactly what I'm
I
asking
never
you.
give them.
But if someone gets a slap and it's that kind of noise, it's like that's too much.
I
Yeah.
reckon it was a Tony Soprano cupping of the
Yeah.
cheek slap maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I think.
I know in a
like-
patronising way,
Right.
and Patterson probably like
All right.
But
His
Sean,
hand
but
away.
Sean, like when David slaps Malcolm's head
yeah.
in,
The office.
and he,
Yeah.
but I think it was probably Dyche hitting him just maybe a fraction or two too
I think
firmly.
that's what it was, yeah.
And Patterson's gone. Hang on a minute.
Well, apparently
And then he does it
was-
again.
Apparently
Yeah.
it was the teammates. Patterson, I think, felt a bit like, well, not embarrassed. Well, probably embarrassed, but also felt quite belittled. And I think a few teammates, by the sounds of things, but hang on a minute, and James Tarkowski had to get involved.
Yeah.
Take
Oh, the
Sean
teammates
Dyche.
got involved.
But it's apparently so, and James
Booted
Tarkowski
Sean
had to.
Dyche off the goal line.
He had to the captain had to come in, calm things down, and reportedly, Tarkowski took Sean Dyche aside.
Did he?
Yeah, Sean,
Come
you're
on.
gonna have to apologise.
John, you're gonna have to let him slap you 3 times.
Joking.
Otherwise the
Just all
post,
slap each other.
Yeah.
otherwise the post in and natters are just gonna get ruined. They're gonna fly around the room.
If here's the thing, Nathan Patterson's 22. He looks about 15.
Yeah.
Right. It's a
Easy
work.
target.
It's a it's a work trip. I don't know. Call me old fashioned or whatever, but should you really be laying hands on an employee at a work trip of any description?
But the dynamics of player and manager are very different, aren't they? They are more more jovial, more personable.
It's just gone a bit too far.
yeah, it's
Is
But
it
it's-
a
it's
generational
funny,
thing?
but
His cheeks are very like ruddy, aren't they? So like maybe he looks pre-slapped. So maybe
Yeah.
like if you look at
Yeah.
that going, look, somebody's clearly slapped me before.
Everyone's
Let me have
doing
another
it.
go. Everyone's doing it.
maybe
yeah.
it's in
Let me have a go.
You know, in Tenet, I've watched a lot of Tenet over all my flights the last 2 months. You know, the bullet comes backwards. Maybe
Yes.
Dyche was trying to take the slap off
Yeah,
his cheek.
taking it out. Yes,
that's a good idea.
true.
Yeah, we have to leave that open.
It always happens.
We just don't know.
I'll say a variation of what I said about Mark Robbins is that it always happens to the managers you least expect. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
that's
Yeah.
sources.
I just can't see Sean ever doing something like that.
Well, Luke's sources have said the incident was a simple misunderstanding that was dealt with very quickly.
With a slap.
Yeah. And James
Everyone got
Tarkowski.
a slap.
I like the
PR,
idea.
like HR comes in, slap.
You know those slapping competitions that are always on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
they're
yeah.
horrible, aren't they?
Yeah.
But that would happen though if Dyche and say David Moyes, who's threatened a slap before,
Yeah.
if one of them, as you say, gave the kind of jovial little tap on the cheek, as if, you played well today, I think the other one will go, well, so did you, and do it back just that little bit more,
And they get going,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
more and more, and suddenly
Till one of
blows-
them was dead.
one of them's got a weapon.
Then the big FFP lottery hand comes in and just slaps Everton out of the league. Get out of it. The ultimate slap.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
That is the ultimate dry money slap.
There we go. Thank you very much for listening to the Football Ramble, part of the Acast Creator Network. Join us on Wednesday, of course, for more of this glorious chat. Do follow us on X, which you can find at twitter.com, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at
I've missed
Football
that.
Ramble, and follow us on Spotify.
It's worth pointing out, yesterday was St Patrick's Day.
Was
and
it?
Pitbull did a Twitter post saying
course he did.
dear.
himself with 4-leaf clovers all around him, photoshopped.
Yep.
Clive, if you're listening. And it said, Happy St Patrick's Day. That's why the man's the best.
Pitbull, Pit Trick.
That's why he's Mr. Worldwide.
Exactly.
He knows what all the national days are.
Does he have like? Does he have? I know he's called Pitbull. Does he ever have like dog monikers in there?
Yeah,
Like
good
kind
point.
of? Is he? Does he hang out with other pit bulls?
Hopefully.
Is he like?
Do
like
they
the
not-
leader of like Top
Like
Cat?
the Snoop Dogg, like the dog pound when Nate Dogg the
Yeah,
Snoop
I'm sort of
Dogg, yeah.
imagining him. Actually, we talked about this earlier. You mentioned a dog called Wishbone earlier on.
Yeah.
What is Wishbone?
He,
So quick Google. I can't find what he does.
he's a crime-fighting dog, I think.
Right. Is that why he's dressed as a detective all the time?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
that
I'd like to
makes
think
sense,
if
right.
Pitbull befriended a...
Just a 90s thing. I'm
so,
just annoyed
yeah.
that I don't know a
I've looked-
celebrity
apparently
dog.
it's a Jack Russell in a show called Wishbone, which aired between 95 and 97 on PBS in the United States. It's about a dog named Wishbone who daydreams about being the lead character of stories from classic literature.
Yes.
Yeah, his Wikipedia entry is of him playing Robin Hood.
Right. Okay. So he
Yeah.
does
Yeah, because-
different characters.
Because the
right.
dog who played him was called Soccer the dog, and he was like a famous dog in loads of different stuff.
Soccer dog.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Soccer Dog, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
There we are.
Good
Please
to know.
clear it up with that. You'll clear that up, haven't you?
I
All I
wanna know who
wanted
Wishbone
to
dog is.
say was if Pitbull befriended a member of the English upper classes, it would be Pitbull the Younger. Or a Hollywood actor, Brad Pitbull. You know,
Pitbull the Elder.
The puns are there. Pitbull's actually a patron as well now. So if you go to patreon.com/Football Ramble or go onto the Discord, pay $5 a month, you can chat to Pitbull. He's on there 24 hours a day.
That's naughty.
No, it's true.
He's in there.
Oh, how would you lot know? I'm the only one on there. Trust me.
Oh, well, we will trust you.
Yeah.
And more's the pity.
I got Andy Brassel on there because I told him on WhatsApp that everyone was slagging off Leon. Popped up straight away.
Yeah, that's it.
How would you lure me in?
Don't know. We've got to go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Luke Moore. Thank you, Pete Donaldson.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, Vitushan and Antaraj. Lovely to have you back.
Lovely to be back.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Cheers for watching another fantastic clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Make sure you click like on this video and subscribe to the channel, which means you will not miss a single upload.